Hello, good evening everyone. Welcome back. This is third lecture in Operational Amplifier series. I am Kainash Shahid and I will be discussing about operational amplifier performance parameter today. Okay. So in the last two lectures we already have discussed about what is operational amplifier is, how does this operational amplifier works, and we have also talked about the different ideal characteristics of operational amplifier, the different um, configuration, like it can be single-ended input output device, or it can be double-ended input output device. We have also talked about some golden rule, how by which we can solve any circuitry of operational amplifier. Okay, so before going into application of operational amplifier, we have to understand that the op-amp, to use operational amplifier as a device, we must have to know its performance parameter. Like any other device, for any device we have to know what much voltage is needed, and what are the different parameters that has to be taken into consideration for any application. Okay, so that's what we are going to discuss in this lecture. First op-amp parameter is output offset voltage. Okay, so what is this output offset voltage? What happens if we have this operational amplifier, let's assume, and if both the terminals are grounded, this is your VO. Okay, that means this, as we have already discussed, this should be this depends on the differential voltage, hence VO will be equal to 0, as VD is here 0. Okay, as here this is 0. But what happens practically, this is not 0. Okay, this VO is not 0 when we apply ground to both the terminals. Okay, that means this V1 is grounded and V2 is grounded. In spite of that, we are getting certain output voltage in the op-amp. Okay, so why this is happening, if you remember this circuitry that we have already discussed, this is the operational amplifier is nothing but a diode coupled amplifier. Okay, so this was like minus VEE, this is VCC. These are two transistor Q1 and Q2. Okay, let's assume this is V2, this is V1. So we have already discussed about the operation of this differential amplifier. What I am trying to say, that the for operational amplifier to work properly, we are saying that both the transistor Q1 and Q2 should be perfectly matched. Okay, but what happens, for any manufacturer it is not possible to make two transistors equal. Okay, so there will be certain differences in the values. Okay, there will be okay, let me show something. Okay, so there will be differences in certain value. What will be those differences? That can be difference in the base emitter voltage, that is this voltage and this voltage VBE2. Okay, so because of slight mismatch between the two transistor Q1 and Q2, the VBE1 will not be equal to VBE2, hence it will create certain voltage at the output. Okay, so the reason we are getting output offset voltage, because of the mismatch of the two transistor in differential amplifier. Okay, So to eliminate this output offset voltage, we have to apply certain input offset voltage. Okay, so how much voltage we should apply at the input terminals of the operational amplifier, right? This is the question. So this VDC1 and VDC2, okay, whatever signal that we want to apply, this signal, how much signal we should apply, this will be provided by the data sheet. Okay, this will be given in your data sheet of the operational amplifier. Okay, the input offset voltage is nothing but the difference between these two DC voltages that we will be applying at the two terminals of the operational amplifier. Okay, this input offset voltage is being applied to make the output offset voltage 0. Okay, I hope you got my point. What I am saying that due to the mismatch of the transistor, we will be getting output at certain value, certain small voltage, in spite of input voltage being grounded. Okay, in spite of input voltage being grounded, we are getting certain output voltage. To eliminate this output voltage to 0, to make this output voltage to 0, we have to apply certain input offset voltage. Okay, and this will be provided by your op-amp manufacturer data sheet. Okay, so this is the input offset voltage. Okay, the input offset voltage is being applied to remove the, or you can say to reduce the output offset voltage. Okay, hope you got my point. This is very important offset parameter. Okay, because this will decide how much error is there in your output, right? So we have to adjust for this output offset voltage. Okay, we will be discussing about the adjustment, how to do it. Next offset parameter is your input offset current. Okay, so what is input offset current? Due to the, as we said, that due to difference in VB1 and VBE2, we are getting the output offset voltage. Same will happen, something like beta 1 and beta 2 will also be different due to slight mismatch of transistor. Okay, so when this beta 1 is not equal to beta 2, we will get a certain base voltage. Okay, this IB1 and this IB2, this both would not be equal. Okay, so that's why, because this IB1 and IB2 is not equal, we will get a difference voltage. Okay, and that input voltage difference is called as input offset current. Okay, and because this is not fixed, that in which terminal the base current will be how much, so that's why for the total input bias current we actually take a average of both the currents. Okay, there are some things happen, like some problems will be given in your question paper or like any competitive exam, that the input offset current is given, the input base current is also given, and you have to find out this IB plus and IB minus. Okay, so you can we actually can use this equation and solve this, can find out this format. Okay, so from here you will be able to easily find out if this base current and input offset current is given, then the bias current following individually to each terminal, like non-inverting terminal, positive terminal and the negative terminal, individually we can find out, we can calculate. Okay, so general purpose transistor, op-amp transistor, op-amp which is based on bipolar transistor. Okay, why we are saying? Because there are transistor which is made of FET, normally field effect transistors, and MOSFET is being used for making the operational amplifier. But the transistor which are made of bipolar transistor, that is BJT, the range of input current will be in the range of 100 nanoampere, and in the range of the input offset current is in the range of 10 nanoampere. Okay, the adjustment, I just wanted to show you that we have already discussed this IC pin diagram in the very first class, right? So here what I want to show you is this, that for making the output voltage 0, output offset voltage, what we are doing, we are applying the input offset voltage at the terminals, okay? But with the help of this potentiometer, we are connecting a potentiometer between 1 and 5, that is pin 1 and pin 5. We are connecting a potentiometer, and why potentiometer is what? It's a variable resistance. That means we can change the resistance value, okay? We can change the resistance value, and we can change the voltage drop accordingly, okay? So to adjust the output offset voltage, we connect a potentiometer here, okay? So this is just a offset voltage adjustment range, and I just wanted to show you the how it is being done, okay? So normally the output offset voltage adjustment happens only in the supply voltage range, and for 741 IC the range is in the plus minus 15 volt, okay? Next very important performance parameter is common mode rejection ratio, okay? Common mode rejection ratio. What is CMRR? Ideally we said that it is infinity, okay? Ideally it is infinity, okay? Now CMRR is nothing but the ratio of differential gain to the common mode gain. Where comes the common mode comes? What happens whenever we are applying certain signal to the terminals, if both the signal V1 V2 if both the terminals has the same value, equal value, if there is a difference, V1 is not equal to V2, then we actually take the difference of these and we call it as a differential voltage, okay? And the gain due to this is called the AD, differential gain, right? When V1 is equal to V2, okay, in that case it will be, if we take the differential gain, it will be 0, right? VD will be equal to 0. So in that case, when both the signals are equal, what we do, we take common between the common of these two signals, okay, right? So we take we take the average of two values, okay, this, and this is nothing but the common mode signal, okay? Like differential signal, there is a common mode signal is also. So whenever we apply certain signal, it may has two different components, a frequency component of same nature and different nature also can be combined in a particular signal. So the output actually depends on both the differential gain and the common mode gain, okay? What we are saying, we are saying that output is the effect of not AD/VD only. Till now we have been saying that VO is nothing but AVD, right? That is differential gain. Now we are saying it also depend on the common mode gain ACM and the common mode voltage. The gain that will be generated due to this common mode voltage, that we are calling it as a common mode gain, okay? So this is our output particularly, okay? Now this output, from here we can find out equation like this also. We are just taking this AD/VD out, okay, and we are making this equation. So if I just rewrite this equation, we can again write this AD/VD, this is 1 plus this AD by ACM is what? This is nothing but 1 by CMRR, right? And this is VC by VD. So this is the equation for VO. Now you can see that actually the output voltage depends has this component where if CMRR value is high, that means what? This value will be much smaller than 1. It will be smaller than 1, hence we will be able to write this will be can be implied as VO will be approximately equal to AdVd, right? So what we are saying, that in spite of the presence of this common voltage, okay, Vc or Vcm, in spite of presence of this, the output is actually more nearly close to this value AdVd, right? So this CMRR value, it determines whether this will be depending on this AdVd or both is AdVd and Vc. If this is very small value, then obviously the effect of common mode voltage will be much more on the output voltage. Okay, so ideally the CMRR is infinity. Practically it is not infinity, but it is very high. That's why it is an important parameter. It can also be mainly is denoted in dB. Okay, that is 20 log of this AD to ACM. And yes, so if we have let's assume you have been given a op-amp of 180 dB CMRR. If CMRR is 180 dB for op-amp 1, and this is for 80 dB for op-amp 2, then which one will be better? It will be this. Okay, this will be better one. Okay, so that's why it is important. That we know the this performance parameter, that what is the value of CMRR of the particular op-amp that we are going to use, because it determines the ability of an op-amp to reject common mode signal. Okay, and this is important. Why? Because mainly common mode signals are the signals which are common to both the terminal, and these are the signals which are mainly noisy. Noise signals can be common signal, mainly some unwanted signal can be common to both the terminals. Okay, so it may happen that it is unwanted signals. It can be a wanted signal, but basically many times it is unwanted signal that is common to both the terminals. So the ability to reject that common mode signal is called the CMRR, that is common mode rejection ratio. Okay, so this is a very important thing to know. Ideally the for 741 IC it is 90 dB, right? Okay, so another input parameters to consider is the range, input voltage range, and the output voltage swing. The input voltage and output voltage swing is not very different. It is for 741 IC, it is this is plus Vs and minus Vs. The output input will be depending on this voltage only. Okay, that means the range of difference voltage that we apply at these two terminals is actually for 741 IC it is plus minus 15 volt, but practically it is always less than 85 to 90% of supply voltage. Okay, so it will be plus minus 13 volt maximum. So what we are saying, that if you are applying a differential signal, it can be difference between the signal, it can be as high as the difference can be plus 13.5 volt, or as low as it can be minus 13.5 volt. Okay, and the output voltage swing, we are saying that the maximum output voltage that it can go up to is plus 13.5, and this can be a linear region, it can be minus 13.5. Okay, so the output will swing between these two values, nothing else. So this is also important. Depending on which op-amp you are using, the values will be different. Again, the another parameter is drift. Okay, So what is drift is it's a certain kind of changes that happens due to temperature effect. Okay, so ideally we are saying that op-amp is does not depend on the temperature, right? But op-amp is nothing but a direct coupled amplifier. Okay, why we are saying direct coupled? It depend its first circuit is differential amplifier, and it is nothing but the two transistor connected connection. Okay, so we can just write like this, two transistor connection. So that means at higher frequency at certain temperature, due to some internal capacitances and internal properties of the transistor, the values will be changed, okay, at certain temperature. So the input offset voltage, as we know, that it depends on the mismatch of the transistor, how much voltage we are applying, that will get affected due to the change in temperature. Okay, so we are saying that the input offset voltage drift, that is the drift that is happening in input offset voltage, which has been provided by the manufacturer itself due to temperature, is called the input offset voltage drift, that is del VIO by del T. And the input offset current drift is nothing but the change in input offset current with the change in temperature. So for 741 IC, it is this, and this del input offset current change will be 12 picoampere. Okay, another very important parameter is supply voltage rejection ratio. Okay, so this is VRR, right? So what is this? It is the change in output voltage due to the change in supply voltage due to the change in the change in input offset voltage due to the change in the supply voltage. Okay, why we are saying this, how it is going to affect, that we have already discussed, is that the supply voltage is nothing but the voltage that we have said. Okay, the voltage that we are saying here, this voltage, this is nothing but the supply voltage we are talking about. Okay, minus VEE. So if these two voltages changes, okay, so the parameters of transistor like VBE1 and VBE2, the IV current, these all depends on the supply voltage. Okay, so if the supply voltage changes, the parameter will be changing, and hence the input offset voltage required to make the output 0 will be changing. Okay, right? So this supply voltage rejection ratio, that is the ratio of the change in our input offset voltage due to the change in supply voltage, is must to be known for a user. Okay, so it is in the range of microvolt per volt, and for 741 IC it is 150 microvolt. Okay, so you can see it is the del V is the change in the input supply voltage, and it is the corresponding change in the offset voltage. Okay, so if you have any confusion or if it is not clear how this is changing, you can always ask question in the comment box. Okay, and I will get back to you. So the thing is, as I again repeat, that due to supply the voltage and current of the transistors depends on the supply voltage. If there is a change in supply voltage, these parameters will change, and hence the output voltage, the differential output voltage will be different, and hence the offset voltage will be different. So the to make this output offset voltage 0, we will be needing a different input offset voltage. Hence the change that is happening in supply voltage and what changes happening in the input offset voltage, that is called the supply voltage rejection ratio. Okay, okay. So next important thing is slew rate. Okay, slew rate, what we are saying is, if you are applying a signal like this, you want output to be in the same way but amplified, right? You don't you want your output change happens in the same rate of change that input. Otherwise, what will happen if the rate of change of output is not same as the input, then the shape of the output will be different. What will happen? The shape will be like this. I will just use a different color. It may happen that you will get a shape like this. Okay, why? Because if the rate of change is different, right? So to get the exact shape, to not get the distortion or a shape change in the output, we have to have a slew rate is very important. Okay, slew rate shows the output change, rate of change of output with time. Okay, it is shown del VO with time. Okay, so maximum rate at which amplifier output can change in volt per second. So it provides the parameter that how the output is changing, and in respect of the change in input also. Okay, so this is, again, it is very important to know the slew rate. Otherwise the output of our amplifier would not be following the input voltage. Okay, so depending on this slew rate, again there is a signal frequency, maximum signal frequency to work within. Okay, that means there is a range of frequency. Ideally we said that the op-amp can work in any range of frequency, right? We have said that, but practically there is a due to, again, the direct couple amplifier at higher frequency, due to the parasitic capacitances inside the transistor that comes into effect at higher frequency range, the gain of the amplifier will reduce. Okay, so at what frequency the maximum at what frequency the gain will be reduced? So there is a range of frequency at which we are saying the operational amplifier works and better, and that we are saying as a maximum signal frequency. Okay, it depends on the bandwidth. That means bandwidth is, because we are saying that op-amp will be working from DC to AC voltage, so it can be from 0 hertz to certain hertz. So that's why we are saying a bandwidth and the slew rate. Okay, and the slew rate, it depends on both the parameters, change in rate of change of the output voltage, right? So for a particular sinusoidal wave, if we are saying that this is K sine 2 pi ft, K is nothing but the peak voltage. Okay, in certain books it is denoted as K, in certain it is BP or V. Okay, so maximum voltage rate of change that we are saying for signal maximum rate of change is this 2 pi fk volt per second. Okay, so this is our this. This 2 pi fk for getting a distortionless output. Okay, to get a distortionless output, we have to have this 2 pi fk less than equal to slew rate. Okay, nothing else. So this is one thing. We can also express it in terms of the frequency that we are saying, the frequency f less than SR by 2 pi. I am just writing it again, 2 pi k, or you can say Vp. Okay? This is Vp, nothing else. Or we can also write in terms of bandwidth, that is in terms of radian per second, right? So it is nothing but slew rate by k. Okay, that is radian per second. So again, this is an important parameter because it depends on the bandwidth, it depends on the slew rate, and again we have to note what the bandwidth is we are talking about. So the gain bandwidth product, so it is a very important parameter again. The gain bandwidth product shows that at what frequency the gain of the amplifier becomes unity. Okay, what is happening? We are saying that after a certain frequency the gain started to reduce. You can see the gain is started to fall. At increasing frequency the gain has started to fall. So the frequency at which the gain become unity, okay, the gain is unity, that signal we are saying is unity gain bandwidth. Okay, the bandwidth at which the gain of operational amplifier becomes unity is called unity gain bandwidth. And another parameter is that it is also called gain bandwidth product. Okay, another parameter is this 3 dB gain. This is 3 dB gain, where the gain reduces to 1 by root 2 of the total voltage gain. Total gain, right? So this value is called in amplifier as a cutoff frequency, after which you can see that the gain is falling very fastly. Okay, so this is cutoff frequency. So we can actually write a relation between these two. Okay, that is the unity gain bandwidth is equal to the open loop differential gain into the cutoff frequency. Okay, so this is again a very important parameter to know before working with the operational amplifier. Okay, so we have talked about all the performance parameters. The most important, actually every parameter is important if you want to work with the operational amplifier, and if you are designing any application. So you have to know that at what frequency range you are working, and in what temperature environment you are working. Accordingly you will be choosing. The slew rate is important to avoid the distortion. The gain bandwidth product is important to know at which frequency the gain will become unity. How the gain is falling with the frequency. The maximum frequency range is important to know that at what frequency the op-amp will be working very well. Okay, so these performance parameters is very important. So before ending this lecture, I would like to solve few questions. So this is very small question. It's just based on the theory that we have discussed today only. Okay, so exercise 1 is that if you have a operational amplifier has a slew rate of 2 volt per microsecond, if the peak voltage is given 12 volt, what is the power bandwidth? So we know that what was the relation, 2 pi f k should be less than slew rate. Okay, so the slew rate is given here as 2 volt per microsecond, and the Vp is given as 12 volt, which is nothing but k, that we have denoted here k, and the power bandwidth is nothing but the we are not talking about gradient bandwidth. We will be calculating in frequency only. So power bandwidth is nothing but the frequency that it is asking. So if you solve this equation, Fk SR by 2 pi k, this will be equal to I think it will come as I have calculated it somewhere. Yeah, so it will come as 26.5 kilohertz. Okay, so the power bandwidth, or the bandwidth, the frequency range bandwidth we are saying, because the range is counted from the DC voltage gain, voltage signal. Okay, so F, or you can say power bandwidth, that has been asked. Okay, it is nothing but this value 26.5 kilohertz. You can calculate it, okay, you can calculate it. I think I have written the correct answer. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is very simple question. It is just formula based question, nothing else. As I said, this is important thing to know, so you have to remember this. Next question is based on the offset current. So here you can say for the given circuit the input offset current is this 20 nanoampere. The V in of that is input offset voltage is 0. The differential input gain we have to find out, that is VD we have to find out, and the output offset voltage, that is VOO, we have to find out, right? So how to do that? We know that the output voltage is nothing but AVD, right? So first we have to know that this VD. So VD at this case for open loop case, it is nothing but V plus V minus. So this is V plus minus V minus, right? So V plus is 0, V minus is what? There will be a voltage drop due to this input offset current, right? Input offset current is the current difference between these two terminals, right? So as this is 0, the current we can take it in this terminal, so the voltage drop across this terminal will be equal to if I write like this VD can be written as actually, yeah, it can be written as the differential voltage will be equal to, wait, okay, this is nothing but the voltage that drops across the IN offset into 1k ohm, that is the resistor, okay. So this is what? This is 20 nanoampere into 1k, which is 20 into 10 to the power minus 9 into 10 to the power 3, which is nothing but 20 into 10 to the power minus 6, that is 20 microvolt, okay. So this is your VD, right? And VO, V offset output voltage is nothing but AVD, and A is given as 10 to the power 5, VD has come as 20 to the power minus 6, that means it will be nothing but 2 volt, okay. The output offset voltage is coming as 2 volt, and the VD is 20 microvolt, okay. So you can also write like this is nothing but IB1 minus IB2 and modulus, as the equation was that we have already discussed about it, okay. So if we say that whatever the current is following, we are taking in which terminal we are not talking about, we are just taking the difference and taking the modulus, okay. So that's why the current is 20 nanoampere, right? Yes, so this will be your answer, okay. So before leaving, in the last class I have given one question. I will just quickly solve it. I hope you have already solved it. If not, then you can just see it, okay. So this is grounded, this was V of O. I must have the question here, yeah. So this was VI, this is 500k was given, this was 1k, this is grounded VO, and the given was your VI, actually VO was given as 2.5 volt and VI was given as 5 volt, right? So we have to find out the finite open loop differential gain of the op-amp, okay. Finite open loop differential gain of the op-amp, okay, of the op amp we have to find out, right, which is nothing but we can say A. Okay, so what we are saying, this is 0, right, and this is an open circuit, so we know that this VO is nothing but the open gain and the VD, differential voltage. Okay, so differential voltage is nothing but again VD is nothing but V plus minus V minus. So here this is 0, this V plus is nothing but the voltage drop across this terminal, okay, the 1K. So 1K, if we take the voltage drop across this, so we can write V plus is nothing but voltage drop across 1 kilo ohm, 1 plus 500, just a simple voltage divided rule, and this is VI. So this is nothing but VI by 501, right? And this VD is, VI is given, VO is given, we have to find out the AOL. So we will just write this AOL, open loop differential gain. You can also write AOD if you wish. Okay, now this open loop differential gain, and this can be written as VO by VD, which is nothing but VO by VI by 501. So if we put the value, VO is 2.5 volt, this will be 501, it will be divided by 5 volt, which is nothing but actually it will come as a 250.5. okay, this will be your answer. So it is just to show that because it is an open loop system, okay, we are not saying that this terminal is grounded, okay, due to virtual ground. We are just finding out the potential drop across this R resistance, 1 kilo ohm resistance, and solving in this equation, nothing else. Okay, if there were some feedback, then the feedback would have tried to make this terminal voltage grounded also due to the virtual ground concept. We will be discussing about these kind of circuits in your upcoming lectures a lot, so it will be much clearer. So in the next lecture we will be talking about application of operational amplifier in linear region. Okay, so if you have any question about this class or the previous 2 class, you can always write comment, okay, and I will get back to you. And yeah, these all offset parameters are important before working with any other any application of operational amplifier. Okay, so we will be starting with the application of operational amplifier from next class. Okay, thank you. We will